الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praises be to He, the Creator, the Sustainer of the heavens and the earth, and may Allah's peace and blessings be upon His final messenger Muhammad. I bear witness there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah, and I bear witness that the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, is His final messenger. Eid Mubarak. Brothers and sisters, Eid is about family. And this Eid particularly is a celebration and a commemoration of a very prominent family in our faith tradition. But it's a family. It's a family that was built on foundation of faith. A family which started because Ibrahim alayhi salam and his wife Sarah believed in Allah and were protected by Allah, therefore bringing in Hajar into this family of believers. And Hajar, may Allah be pleased with her, a woman who according to some accounts was the daughter of a pharaoh, and others the daughter of the leader of Bani Canaan, the Canaanites. A woman who through the resolve of belief and strength of perseverance brings forth not just one life, the life of Ismail, but a whole ummah. A whole ummah that comes forth from a barren valley that Ibrahim alayhi salam recounts and says, بِوَادٍ غَيْرِ ذِي زَرْعٍ عِنْدَ بَيْتِكَ الْمُحَرَّمِ, in a valley that is without plants, that is barren, at your sacred house, O Allah. And this woman, Hajar, who was left in the middle of the desert by her husband, because he was commanded to do so by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when she asks her husband Ibrahim, she says, "What will you leave for us?" And Ibrahim is walking away and not responding, and Ismail is a very young suckling child. And then she asks the question, Allahu amaraka bihada? Did Allah order you to do this? And Ibrahim responds in the affirmative. And look at the conviction of faith. She says, then Allah will never abandon us. Brothers and sisters, I want us to imagine this scenario. This woman with a child by herself in the middle of the desert with no one around, with only some dates and a satchel of water. And the level of trust in faith that she has in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not giving up. When the water begins to run out, she doesn't just sit there and say, "Oh Allah, the water is running out. The food is finishing. My son is hungry and thirsty." No! She stands. She goes and walks over to As-Safa, to a high hill. Doesn't see anyone. Walks over to Al-Marwa, another hill. And every point stopping and asking Allah for aid and assistance. And look how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers. Not only did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring about the well of Zamzam that still gushes today because of this woman's perseverance and her son Ismail, but every single Hajj that is in Mecca today has to make that same journey. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards this believing woman by having every single person that visits His house to repeat her steps. repeat her very steps. You cannot complete your Umrah or your Hajj without walking the path of Hajar. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevates those who have ultimate faith and belief and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a woman, brothers and sisters, that you are following the steps of when you make your Hajj and your Umrah. And it's a woman of faith that brought about a family of faith with Ibrahim as the leading husband, teaching his family, not abandoning. He comes back later and he finds Ismail. And what does he do? Surah Al-Baqarah, وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ الْقَوَاعِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ وَإِسْمَاعِيلُ رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. And Ibrahim comes back and begins to lay the foundations of the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he does so with his son. Not alone. It's a family of belief. Ibrahim is engendering faith. Ibrahim, this family, this was tested. And then let's look at this son who was raised with this mother that is a giant, and a father that is considered the friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does he do when he is tested? When Ibrahim comes to him, Ya bunay, inni ara fil manami anni azbahuk. O son, I see in my sleep or in my bed that I am slaughtering you. So what do you say? Look at the response of this believing son. Ya abati, if'al ma tu'mar, satajiduni insha'Allah min as-sabirin. O father, do as you are commanded. You will find me, God willing, Allah willing, of the patient ones. So brothers and sisters, this Eid is a commemoration of the believing family. This Eid is a commemoration of faith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with those who trust in Him, and will give them, and will reward them, and will commemorate them. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We know that Ibrahim alayhi salam faced many crises. Being thrown in the fire, being tested in many different ways, having children at a very old age is a test. And yet, that he never wavered in his faith. And the children, we look at Ismail and we look on the other side of Ishaq and Yaqub. إِذْ حَضَرَ يَعْقُوبَ الْمَوْتِ إِذْ قَالَ لِبَنِيهِ مَا تَعْبُدُونَ مِنْ بَعْدِي. When Yaqub came to pass away, when he was passing away, he turned to his sons. He didn't say, what about the wealth and what about the family? He says, no, what will you worship after me? قَالُوا نَعْبُدُ إِلَهَكَ وَإِلَهَ آبَائِكَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْمَاعِيلَ إِلَهًا وَاحِدًا وَنَحْنُ لَهُ مُسْلِمُونَ. That we will worship the Lord of your Lord and the Lord of your forefathers, Ibrahim and Ishaq. This is one Lord. So, brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this Eid is reminding us that this Eid is about making sure our family is a faith unit together. That there is not one person in this family that is not important. That we need to focus on making sure that we engender these ideas of faith and belief in ourselves and in our wives or our husbands and in our kids. So I have to ask myself, what am I teaching my kids? What are my kids inheriting from me? Are they simply inheriting the financial values, getting ahead in life? Or are they inheriting the faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that will help them in the day of judgment? So I have 3 practical things to do. Number 1, reflect, use this Eid to reflect on any current hardship or difficulty that you face. If this is a difficulty faced by faith, let's examine why. and return to Allah. Make one small dua, oh Allah, help me return to you. So that's number one. Reflect. Think about Hajar in the middle of the desert. Think about Ibrahim thrown in the fire. Think about Ismail getting ready to be slaughtered. So reflect on a hardship. This is a hardship. And see how you would face that hardship and whether you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first or someone else. So that's number one. So reflection. Number two, spend some time reciting Surah Al-Baqarah with the focus on Ibrahim and Ismail. Why? Because we need to live the lives of these messengers and understand and have our kids understand that this is our faith and this is why we celebrate. Why do we celebrate Eid? We celebrate Eid because this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded when He sent the lamb or the sheep for Ibrahim instead of Ismail. It's a celebration of faith, of trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So talk about the story of Ibrahim and Ismail and Ishaq and Yaqub to your kids, to your family. And try to understand those stories. And they're available. I'm happy after the khutbah if someone has time or wants to ask to give you some resources. Number three, enjoy Eid. Put joy of Eid in your families. Put joy of Eid to your children. Make sure they feel like this is joy. And for those of you that are blessed to have big families around you, invite others that don't have that same blessing, so they may enjoy Eid with your family. This is how we build community. So number one, reflection. Number two, the story of Ibrahim and Ismail and talking about it together as a family. And number three, spend Eid with family and those brothers and sisters around you that can't, so that they may be filled with joy also. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from us all. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us enjoy this Eid in times of hardship and difficulties. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to ease the hardship of Muslims all around the world. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept the Hajj of our brothers and sisters that are in Hajj and answer their dua and bring them back to their families safely and securely. And in the end, brothers and sisters, I will tell you that I am wearing today a hatta that I bought in the town of Khalil. For our Palestinian brothers and sisters that are facing difficulty, do not forget them from your dua as well as others. Jazakumullahu khairan. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.